Greetings and welcome once again to Solving the World's Problems. The problem tonight is, what do you do when you leave your dead buddy on the Genesis planet and his contra is stuck in your other buddy's head? Apparently, you violate all the Starfleet regulations and probably start a war. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our review of Star Trek III: The Search for Spock. Hello, everyone. So we got Shieldwall of Dragons with us tonight. Shieldwall, how you doing, buddy?
Hey everybody, I'm doing great. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Matt, the unbearable 73, how you doing, pal?
I'm kind of unbearable right now with quality flu shot take in today, but otherwise doing okay.
Don't you die on me, Matt. See, and just like that. Now someone has to get in there and get his contra. My favorite internet wizard, it's Blair de Blair. Welcome, sir.
Hey,
how are you this evening?
Nerdporeal fan,
Spock 3, the beginning of the odd sequel curse.
Ooh, there's going to be a fight. And Nerdporeal, or otherwise known as the Nerdporeal Lifeform. Welcome, my friend. How are you this evening?
Pretty good. I'm glad you identified me by my given name, because, I'm from Chicago and I get offended really easily. That's just how we are here. And I'm glad to be here to talk about Star Trek 3 with you toxic individuals.
I'm super toxic.
Oh, my God. And it's already started. So Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock, out in 1984, directed by Leonard Nimoy, written by Harve Bennett. I want to talk before we even roll into this and start talking about all the other stuff that we either liked or didn't like. The score by James Horner, I absolutely loved. It was just brilliant. I watched it again for the first time in a long time, a couple days ago, and man, I somehow had misplaced how good that score is in my noggin. It's fantastic.
Stealing the Enterprise by itself is so epic. Like you just want to be there with Kirk and them when they're leaving the ship, and it's got some of the most epic sounds imaginable.
Best part of the movie.
Say what you want about some of the original 10 Star Trek films, but all the scores were good. There's no bad music in any of them.
James Horner, all right.
Yeah, top freaking notch. And so I'm a big fan of this movie. There are flaws and kind of nitpicks you can throw at it, but do you want me to post my meme? Jacob, yeah, throw the meme at me, buddy. So I'm always curious to see what's going to happen here because you never know. So hang on, I gotta minimize some other
stuff. I'm Sicilian with a knife everywhere. I got something to throw.
What? Oh God, what happened?
He broke it. He broke the internet.
That was the wrong. That was not the right button to hit. Oh dear God, what did I do? Escape? There it is. Sorry. Yes, and that's what you get with a live streaming with Roman. It's going to be something horrible. Okay, here we go. Jacob's meme. Okay,
that sounds like a movie, like a sequel to Jacob's Ladder, Jacob's Meme.
I still have not seen that.
God.
And that would be She-Hulk, I think, going into the lava. I have had enough of you.
Just gonna torque all the way down to the bottom.
I love that. I love that death or that kill.
Oh my God, that was Jacob again. Thank you. Although you did make us recall the twerking scene, and I may not be able to forgive you for that. So let's dive in here.
I think if Kirk saw someone twerking, he'd phaser them.
I think it depends. If he saw She-Hulk twerking, no, she was green. He did. I mean, the Green Orion slave girl. Everybody had a thing for the Green Orion slave girl. She was just
no
like
woman of Kirk won't work at all.
I love this. I love this art right here. It's too bad nowadays they have to repurpose everything, including this. Like they repurposed this, I believe, for Lower Decks.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
they did. They copied it because they're creatively bankrupt.
I loved the opening sequence here. That little screen that got bigger and bigger as they played that scene again, that heartbreaking scene, the death of Spock. And it's a good way to begin because that's your jump off point. And it's not. It was a going from the blue screen to the bringing it full color was just a brilliant introduction to the film.
I think Nimoy's an underrated director. Like this is a beautiful film. Like this is one of the best looking films in this original.
Yes,
sense, other than maybe motion picture, but this is up there.
Yeah. Well, when we get to the destruction of Enterprise, that whole thing was fucking fat. I think we all did. Was just fantastic though. And
just
of course, Jim.
Yeah. Can you imagine the guys doing the effects for that? They must have cried when they did the effects for that.
Yeah.
That was terrible. It was brilliantly done, but it was terrible to watch.
Yeah.
Just recounting the beginning of the film, Spock's tube, and then during the opening credits, we saw this, and I was like, "What the fuck?" They're bringing back Sarek.
Yeah,
and I was so happy they did, and of course he got to live on through next gen as well, which I liked. I liked Mark Leonard. I did think what was the disease?
Bendai syndrome.
Is he still the only one who's ever played a Romulan, a Vulcan, and a Klingon?
As far as I know.
Well, maybe Jeffrey Combs might one day.
Yeah, Jeffrey
fill
Combs.
That role
he's
if they ever bring him back.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of different alien species.
Was it Armstrong? I think he may have done it too.
I don't remember. Like, what was he? Jeffrey Combs was a Ferengi. He was a Vorta.
He was a Vorta. He was
Andorian, and he was Vince McMahon he was Vince McMahon in the Delta Quadrant alien race. We don't know what he is.
He was also. I thought he was a Cardassian as well.
I don't know if he was. I don't think he was a Cardassian. I don't think.
Now David Warner was a Cardassian. David Warner also played a Klingon. He played a human. I like David Warner a lot. That was a big loss when he passed.
But he was also Reanimator.
Oh yeah, Jeffrey Combs, Reanimator.
Oh yeah, not David Warner. Big difference.
But I think.
Oh, he was Andorian too.
I think the big reason why they brought Mark Leonard back was because Nimoy was at the helm of this movie. Do you guys know the story of how Nimoy got to be director of this film?
I don't know that story. So,
okay, so I'll try to keep this simple. So Star Trek II came out and it was successful, and Spock is dead, and of course everybody. I mean, people are sad, but you know what? Paramount, Michael Eisner was running Paramount at the time, and they're like, we're going to make a Star Trek 3, and Michael Eisner actually brought Nimoy in. He's like, hey, do you want to be part of this film? And Nimoy's like, yes, I want to direct. And they were like, sure. So like he's 50. So if you think it's too late to do something different, Nimoy was 51 and he became a director of a movie for the first time. Never did it before. So, but that's how he became.
It's a hell of a debut.
Yeah. And because of Shatner, and because of their little clause or something in their contract, Shatner became a director for Star Trek V. And
I remember that.
There's good and bads in that.
They hose Shatner with that one. I mean, I like Star Trek V to some extent. I like it better than all the Next Generation movies, but there was so many plot. Like the end of Star Trek V to me is great. I love the whole when they get to the boss, so to speak, right? But everything before that is like very problematically written. You know what I'm saying? It's like
the script was bad, and remember they didn't have
the effects were
bad either. They had like 4 guys in a garage with a MacBook.
Well, it's like whoever was saying, let's give everyone a character moment and write about that. Like that was the plot. You know what I mean? It wasn't like let's have a plot and then give them character moments in the context of the plot. It was the other way. And then finally, when the ship gets stolen, they get to
Shakari. Sean Connery.
And then they're fighting the boss. Then I'm like, okay. Now we started the Star Trek episode. Finally, we got to the point.
I didn't. Oddly enough, we're not going to be doing that.
And-
I am going to look at Star Trek 4 in a couple of weeks. I'm going to skip 5 because unless we want to hate watch 5, because that's what it would end up being. We could do that.
It won't be a hate watch for me. You want to do a
No,
hate watch?
same here. Same
Star
here.
Trek 7.
Really? Oh, we can throw it in there. We can throw it in the mix. All right, damn you. Damn you. And actually, Jacob Ironside pulled me over. We're going to take a look at Star Trek 6 over there, but doesn't mean we can't do it over here as well, because everybody has different thoughts on these things. Speaking of difference, we got the loss of Kirstie Alley, which this was not a level up. Robin Curtis was fine, but Kirstie Alley was better.
Yes.
I don't understand.
I could agree that.
Why they just
On the other hand, they
change the
basically
character.
flushed her character anyway by killing off Kirk Jr. I mean, once they did that, like, it was like, you got the impression they were supposed to be the power couple for, like, you know, like there was the idea they were going to be like the next generation of Star Trek in the movies. They were going to be involved in something.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm glad they killed Kirk's son. I don't mean it in a bad way. I didn't need the continuation of that character, though. He didn't really bring a lot to the table other than when he was Kirk's son. And
When
we
he
can
came
talk
around,
about the
he,
emotional impact of that at the, of Kirk on Kirk at the end of the movie. There's a very good scene with that, but then it's kind of like, okay, he's dead.
I'm not saying he had to be a main character, but it would have been nice to see him develop as a character, you know, and maybe in some, and you know, I mean, you don't just kill a character off to give Kirk motivation. Kirk doesn't need motivation to fight.
I think that's kind of a cheap way out. Well, here's your son. Next movie, he's dead.
Yeah, it was that was something my friend brought up when I first showed this to him, and I do agree to an extent. I still love this movie, but that is an issue that I have. It's like they undid everything that Wrath of Khan kind of, changed. Yep. Like, it changed the status quo, but then this movie kind of brought the old status quo back. Kirk not having a son and Spock being back. Spoiler alert.
Well, the interesting thing about this film, like, for one of the premises of Star Trek 2 was that Kirk never faced death in the Kobayashi Maru, right? And it had the whole line about, well, this is you facing death and Spock died. This whole film was about Kirk proving there is no-win scenario. You know what I mean? This is Kirk saying, I rigged the game then, I'm going to rig it now. And, he had to cheat with the Katra and he went for it. It's like, it's pure Kirk. This I love Kirk in this one. He's pure Kirk. Yes. You know what I mean? Just when he makes the Enterprise up, he's pure Kirk.
I actually, and again, we talked about William Shatner's acting in Star Trek 2. I thought his acting in this was also just excellent.
Oh yeah.
Star Trek 4 is a fun movie, and like I said, we can get to that when we get to that. But Star Trek 5 was a big steaming pile. But his chops in Star Trek 2 and Star Trek 3, I thought were really, really good. William Shatner gets a lot of heat for his acting ability, but I thought he was brilliant in both 2 and 3.
He's a pretty good actor. I mean, he's not like an A, but there aren't a lot of A actors. You know what I mean? When people say
he's Jim Kirk, he's T.J. Hooker, which I didn't like. Yeah. He's Kingdom of the Spiders guy. He's
BC, man. Yeah.
He's a good B actor, like the majority of actors, And
this is T.J. Hooker was on at this time, right?
Yeah, actually it was in 1982. He
kind of got like a renaissance of his career back in the early 80s with the Star Trek 2 and T.J. Hooker and came back.
Yeah, and there was an episode where Nimoy got
I remember that one.
I don't know if anybody read Tech War, but he became an author around this time too. The Tech War novels were pretty good. But they had one or two season TV show that was good.
Speaking of Mr. Shatner, there was a fire. A fire happened during the production of Star Trek 3. I believe this was late '83, and he made it possible to he basically saved the sets and everything. He saved lives as a result, and that's the reason why there were 6 Star Trek movies is because of what Mr. Shatner did. So.
Pictures of him.
You have to respect him for the stuff that he's done a lot.
I respect him for a lot of things. I mean,
George Takei fucking ripped him for all those photos of him with the fire extinguisher.
It's funny
George
because
Takei can quite literally suck it.
I know.
It's funny. I don't know how true it is. I might have said this last time, but it was Shatner that convinced George Takei to be in Wrath of Khan because he barely had a role.
Well, he had quite a role in this one, though.
One thing I like about this this movie, is that all the actors, all the characters, the Enterprise crew, or the main characters, all really had something to do. Like they were more than Wrath of Khan, where it was focused on Kirk, Spock, and McCoy.
Well, the pacing was different. Like Wrath of Khan was like, I mean, I know technically it was like 4 or 5 days, but it was really like one episode of Star Trek. Like it was very rapidly paced. Like, whereas this film had chunks with downtime in them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, the whole opening sequence it's slow, and I love it. The whole Enterprise feels like a house with all the children gone. You know what's worse than that? Spock's death. That sequence of Jim reflecting on, literally the last couple days, it carries weight to it. And Mr. Scott telling him it's gonna take 8 weeks, but you don't have 8 weeks, so I'll have it done for you in 2. And
too bad they never continue with those outfits, those engineering.
Those
outfits.
Engineering outfits cool, fucking great.
Weird, like the engineering outfits became highly practical, but the crew outfits became impractical. That was like really weird. I don't really like the look of them, but they don't look well. The background ones look practical, like the ones.
I like those jumpsuits. They've got like cargo pockets and
it's like a radiation suit, like you'd think you'd be wearing in a warp drive engine,
Right, and it's got like hookups for
shit you can plug things into if you need to.
Yeah, yep.
It's an interesting looking suit, and it looks like it's designed very, it is for the warp drive environment.
I need to point out one of the reasons with the uniform changes and whatnot. We're now in the first era where the people who control the Star Trek movies are different from the ones who control the Star Trek TV show. The first Viacom CBS split had occurred around this time. Okay, then they kind of get back together like in the mid 90s, and they split again in the early 2000s.
It was probably a cost thing, also.
Well, the way the split always
Scotty got bigger and bigger.
Movie revenue is considered like high revenue but short gain, whereas TV revenue and things like toys and clothes or whatever is considered low gain but long term. So both times they did the split, the people who got the TV shows got the low revenue long term sources, and the people who did the movies got the high revenue short gain. So that's why they kept changing uniforms and things, because fans will go out and buy these, and the next one they'll be different. They buy more of them,
Right.
Whereas in the show they would keep the same uniforms, and because there was no. It has to do with how you like the show. Fans of the show don't go out and buy new uniforms every time they come out. It's just the way it is.
You recognize that young actor right there?
Yeah, it's bothered me. I don't know who it is, but I know him.
Is that Michael Dorn?
No, it's not Michael Dorn. His name is Phil Morris. He's the son of the actor Greg Morris, who was in the original Mission Impossible series. Series
interesting. I did not know that. Look at you.
Yeah,
that's some neat shit, dude.
He was in
So he I think he was in Seinfeld. He played Jackie Childs, the lawyer that's supposed to be making fun of Johnny Cochran. He was in I think he was in a couple DS9 and maybe a Voyager episode. So I was like, I've seen him before. I just don't remember where. So it's just I thought.
By the way, cool. The Mission Impossible revival TV show from the late 80s, I believe, is pretty good. It's a direct sequel to the original show.
Yeah, you got Mr. Phelps is back, and that was the thing. I mean, you had that, you had Star Trek: Next Generation, Twilight Zone in the 80s.
The 80s were just a golden era of film and television.
Yeah,
the 90s you got some stuff like X-Files, and then the 2000s came and you had fucking nothing. Zim Invader Zim has a funny comment here. I thought the constant uniform changes were to reflect reality. And if you've been in the military, Shieldwall, you can attest to this. Like the Navy changed its uniforms when I was in probably 5 different times. So it's goofy and it's expensive.
They changed it depended on if it was your battle dress uniform or your work uniform or
They changed all of our shit.
Yeah, all that stuff. The dress uniform are constantly monkeying around with stuff, moving things around and taking stuff
And
on.
it was specifically with the enlisted guys. The officer shit stayed pretty much the same until everybody went over to the camouflage uniform. But before that, everything stayed the same. But it was the enlisted guys. It's like, we're going to get rid of this. We're going to bring in this. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it's a funny comment. So this scene, he's asking, Admiral, is there going to be a ceremony? And Kirk's like, I hear his welcome, son. Is that what you're asking? And God knows there should be. This time we paid for the party with our dearest blood. And like I said, the emotional impact. And when he gets in the elevator, it hits him again. He's by himself though, so he has the luxury of showing a bit of emotion where he can't do that in front of the crew, at least not the way he would want to.
Because that's people he confided in. One of them is gone forever. The way he's thinking right now.
Yeah, and that's the burden of command.
Plus, he expected Spock to outlive him. Remember that.
Yeah.
Spock was young.
Well, true.
Well, I mean, at this point, I don't think that was established yet. Maybe it was, but I don't think it was established that Vulcans live longer than humans.
The longevity of the Vulcans.
It wasn't really until TNG with Sarek.
No, they did. I mean, I'd have to.
No. You're right. No, wait. You're right. I forgot. Journey to Babel. He was. Sarek was 100 years old.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. My bad. So yeah, you're right.
So this ship looks like a hermit crab, and on board the hermit crab. What's that?
Looks like a Cardassian ship.
I wouldn't be surprised if they reused repurposed that model.
Yeah,
there was a lot of repurposing even in these early movies.
Look at the dude's hair.
That is so puffy.
Unless it's a perspective shot, though, when the next ship comes in, this ship is super tiny. Unless it's
I think it's a small ship anyway, though.
Yeah, and,
here we have Valkyris. Kind of these guys are waiting for, hey, where's your contract? We need to get our money. And she's like, oh, they've been with us for some time now.
What race is she supposed to be? Look at this. Look how.
That is a great shot. This is a great shot. Look at that. I was like, whoa. I remember I was like 11 when I first saw this movie. I was like, whoa, holy shit.
And that's how they introduce that bird of prey. It's like,
that is awesome.
The bird of prey and the Klingons now have cloaking technology.
Yeah. But also, like, what happens next kind of is a little stupid writing wise. Like, she's an accomplished spy who just gets you material, beam her off, kill the other dudes, and like resurgically alter us so she can do another mission for you. Yeah,
that I agree. There are a couple things like that where where she sends the data, they look at the data, and she says it's going to be useful, and he's like, "You've seen it? Unfortunate." Understood. That meaning she knows she's going to get her ass blown up.
But like,
of course, they said
have her
Klingon, so it didn't
on the
sound
data.
like
Kill her later if you have. It makes no sense to do what they did.
No, I agree. I mean, because the guy, assume that the drivers didn't see it. There's no reason to suspect they would have, but for her to view it almost makes sense because that's confirming that the data is there. You can't just say, okay, here's the disc, and what's on it is good to go.
What's the alternative? Beam the data over. And he goes, did you look at it? He goes, no. Oh, I will look at the data now. Oh, these are cat food formulas. Like,
yeah, exactly. It's like,
you failed me.
This is completely useless. And here we go. That's what he said. Oh, you've seen it? Unfortunate. And they blow them up. He was supposed to be targeting the engine, and he says, lucky shot.
That's later. That's later. That's much later. The Grissom.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. You're right. I apologize. I'm mixing up my Klingon kills.
That's why we're here.
My bad.
There's a pet Targ.
Targ.
He's a lovely
that
beast.
Targ did nothing. That Targ did nothing to deserve what happened to it. I'm just gonna say.
No. Why does he look moist? It's kind of creepy.
I always wish they would put in the live action. I don't know if they ever did. The Vulcan pet. Remember the Celiot? The giant monster that Spock had as a pet as a kid.
I think we see the CGI version in Enterprise.
Yeah.
Oh god damn it!
But it's in the animated show. A Vulcan child pet is like a giant fucking bear.
Not even the bear. It's wild too.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Like Thanes from hell and
yeah.
The Vulcan equivalent of a grizzly bear, basically.
Hey Mags, get better. Don't watch us. Go to bed.
Oh, she's sick too.
She has some chicken
Yeah,
soup.
Meg's
Yeah.
sick. Got the
I don't
foul
know
tip.
if the lady on that ship they gave him the data. I don't think she was a Klingon, was she?
Well, she might have been surgically
Yeah,
altered.
she was a Klingon. She was speaking the Klingon.
She was Klingon.
She had the forehead ridges.
We didn't have. This was our first female Klingon. As far as I.
Oh no, I thought that was Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah, she would be the first. Yeah,
she played Stavik first. Did you know that,
my friend? I mean, I guess that's good stuff. Yes.
Yeah, Reverend Jim is Klingon.
Because sometimes I hear it. Sometimes I hear it. Yeah,
we have the
this dude. And so, well, they have that brief conversation. Let's talk about the conversation because they reviewed the data. Or no, we haven't gotten there yet. We haven't gotten there yet. I'm getting ahead of myself again. Oh, I'm sorry. So Enterprise is coming, and this sequence of Enterprise coming to the space station again. This looked so fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
Just the effects were just stellar. The lighting and the backdrop, it just all came together. You know, you can see where the sun is. It's reflecting off Enterprise and the space station, and everything just looks so, so real.
By the way, for those of you who watched the Orville season 3, in all my reviews, I commented on how good the space effects were with the ship in orbit and everything like that. It reminded me of all the great special effects from the Star Trek movies,
and the music too.
How much effort they put into that part of it.
Oh yeah.
And these are all models and matte paintings and
freaking Zax. Zax, welcome to the show, buddy.
That's right. Wrong.
I like the auto. When Enterprise comes in, they give the basically the station takes control of the ship, and then they just sit back and enjoy the ride. And then this. Well, would you look at that?
So I think an important thing to note is that while they were refitting in space and transferred the training crew off and everything, Scotty automated the entire ship. I don't know how he did it, but he did it so that they were able to just run it with a super skeleton crew.
Yeah.
2 cadets and a chimpanzee.
Well, we find out later how he did it because he basically copied the automation from the Excelsior.
And so everybody, Jim's like, okay, whatever, but everybody else is like, fuck Excelsior. I hear it has trans-warp drive, and if my grandmother had wheels, she'd be a wagon.
Trans-warp drive. That would change definitions in Voyager.
This is where they had different definitions in the movie versus the TV show.
Yeah,
the TV show invented a whole pseudoscience for this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
there's Gilman Rand right there.
Yeah, Grace Lee Whitney.
I think that's her. Is that her?
Yep, that's her.
Right
yeah, she looked familiar to me.
Girls. I don't know if I got a forward shot of her.
She got a cameo in this.
I did love when Enterprise was pulling in. Everybody just is looking at the damage, and they're like, "Oh my god!" And Rand looks almost disapproving at it, though. But it's like, really, is that like that was their goal, was to go out and get fucking blown up by fucking Khan?
I think she looked surprised, but then she realized, wait, it's them.
Yeah, exactly.
I know them. They'd get out of this.
Yeah.
Well, plus, and then the context that they're looking at this, the Enterprise is obviously in bad shape, but they know those vessels are being decommissioned. The old Constellation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if the Enterprise was still in good shape, they probably would have kept it in service longer. Just
it's funny. In the future, I don't know why after 20 years a vessel is considered old. If you look at our current fleet, Nimitz is just slightly younger than I am. And I mean slightly younger than I am. We keep our ships around for a very, very long time. Even our aircraft get a really good run.
The main problem with the nuclear aircraft carriers is the eventual irradiation of the hull from nuclear reactors.
Well, Nimitz hasn't gotten there yet, apparently.
No, it hasn't, but that's the decommissioning cycle. And they measure that every year. And when it reaches a certain point, they have to decommission it, and basically that it's done. They want to do it before it becomes too hard to Get rid of the small amount of
full
fuel.
reactors out and all the stuff.
It's possible that the Enterprise was the nature of its battle damage just made it not
worth it.
recovering.
Also true, yeah. I mean, just to use a real life example, you may or may not recall, it's a couple of years ago, the amphib ship Bonhomme Richard caught on fire here in San Diego. It had just gone through a refit. Just it was still ongoing. There were still parts that internally they were working on, which they suspect may have been part of because actually I won't even go into that whole mess. That's unimportant. But the fire was so devastating they decided to scrap the ship. $1 billion.
Yep, I remember that.
So you're right. Older ship, a lot of damage. She's probably on her way out. So Lifeform and Mr. Spock's quarters. And
me? I wasn't even born when this came out.
What?
No, this movie came out 6 months before I was born.
He's a little kid. I mean, compared to us.
That's true. I forget.
I have scars older than him.
It's a young man's game, but here we are, the elder representatives of the nerd community coming together for you. Security. I do like the heavy cruiser business. That's nice. Security alert. There's a life form in Mr. Spock's quarters. I ordered those quarters sealed. I sealed them myself, Captain. And then we get this uniform, which is fucking stupid looking. I don't like this security uniform. Get rid of the helmet. I mean, the rest of it, the vest is fine if you're looking for some kind of phaser, like a bulletproof vest, a phaser-proof vest or something like that.
Shit.
But those helmets they look like shitty 1920s football helmets.
They do.
I wish they had kept the personal force fields from the animated series. It would have been better.
Yeah, because they use those in almost every video game. That's
not good. Yeah. I get it, Mags. I get it. Ha, ha, ha. Everybody's fucking funny. Everybody's got jokes. I swear I didn't know. I didn't expect it was Zim. I didn't expect it was. She was
Dempsey.
Well, she was part of my crew back when we were afloat on Bonhomme Richard. So retarded uniforms. Kirk just steps in like a boss, though. He's like, you know what? Fuck this. I got guys with phasers and football helmets out here. I'm going in by myself. And this was another really good scene. Yes. They kept Spock's quarters the same as Wrath of Khan. And you always worry that there's going to be set fuckery, but they look the same. And why did you leave me on on Genesis? And Kirk has no idea what he's talking about. He's like, one, he also doesn't realize, what's happened to McCoy. Why did you leave me on Genesis?
So was that Nimoy that was speaking, or was that
that was speaking? Yeah, that was Nimoy's voice coming out of McCoy.
I hear different.
No,
like some people
because he changes it. He starts speaking normally again. After once you see him, he doesn't say except at the end. So they have the exchange of dialogue, and he thinks he's talking to Bones again because Bones starts speaking normally. He asks him if he's lost his mind, and you need to bring me home, Jim. You need to bring me home. We are home, Earth, and he's or not. It's not too late. We need to climb the steps of Mount Seleia, and Jim's like, Mount Seleia, that's on Vulcan. We're on Earth. And then Bones kind of gets a wide-eye thing, and then you get the Nimoy voice again. Remember, and he collapses.
Yeah. This is a great
DeForest
scene.
Kelly, man.
I love the music. I love the music in the scene. It's got that. It still has that little mystical. I mean, it has that little mystical touch, and of course, it all pays off later when we find out what's really going on with him.
What? Oh, Dempsey.
Well, Dempsey. If there's one person you want to watch a whole Star Trek movie with,
and then he collapses. And then again, look at the lighting in the scene. It's just fucking beautifully shot.
Oh yeah. This is, but it's because Nimoy. I don't know if Nimoy was a big photographer at this time, but photography was his major hobby. Mm-hmm. Like if you watch like the TOS DVDs, like when they would say, "Hey, Leonard, what are you up to?" He'd be like, "I'm doing photography." And you see at conventions, when I went to last year in Las Vegas, they had a whole gallery of art that Nimoy, or pictures, photography that Nimoy took, and Nimoy was, what can I say? He knew how to shoot. He knew how to shoot pictures.
I mean, it's just the framing, the spotlight coming down from above, casting the shadow. It's fucking gorgeous. And I'm a man who enjoys the a good visual. It's a good story is nice, man. But Doctor Who, you didn't get a lot of great visuals, but it was a good story. This gives you both. And when the Admiral comes on board, either. No shaky cam. Debriefing the crew, or he came on board for the inspection. That's kind of a jerk off to him. He's just there to talk to them. And Jim wants to take Enterprise back to Genesis, and the Admiral's like, "Oh, that's kind of a problem. It's a quarantine planet and a forbidden subject because it's become a hotspot. And there's a galactic conference going on about Genesis because all the other, people in the Federation are probably like, what the fuck were you guys developing? You could wipe out entire regions with this thing. This seems like a bad idea." And
except the ultra expensive proto matter that no one can.
Yeah. Also, yes.
Yeah.
And Scotty's like, I wanted to stay, here and do refit of Enterprise, and the Admiral's like, "Nah, we need you over on Excelsior as captain of engineering." And then he drops the bomb on the crew that they're decommissioning Enterprise because they didn't know or expect that. So that was like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Oops. Oh dear. What did I do? Something bad happened. Sorry. And that's where he's telling Kirk the bad news. Back with the Klingons. I love the look of the Klingon bird of prey. It's just a mean looking ship.
Mm-hmm.
Although I like the original battle cruiser as well. In this, in the designs, while different, do keep a similar symmetry. You have the longer first part, and that comes out with a wing pattern, because the battle cruiser had the same. It's just this is a lot more cool looking. Not as blocky as the battle cruiser. Now they're watching the Genesis data, and you get a couple of very different Klingons here. They watch it, they see, the whole fucking. Then Kirk goes through the Genesis spiel, and he's like, "Thoughts?" And you got Klingon number 1. He's like, "Great power to control. They can make planets." And then you get the other dude. Very interesting. And
they were dumbing down the Klingons and with this whole setup, like they were very, I guess you would say Machiavellian, intelligent, ruthless type characters in TOS, and now they're more brutish, not contemplative, ultra over the top warrior culture type setup.
Yeah.
What I liked about this scene is that he's asking for advice from his crew, and he's like, "Thoughts on this?" So he takes their input, and then he'll make his decision based off of that, which is what a real leader does. Which I don't know if you really see that anymore in shows.
Oh, in shows, captains are not even captains; they're friend bosses now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
New Trek.
And then, the ill-fated crew of the Grissom.
I didn't even realize it was named after a Mercury astronaut.
Oh, yeah, Gus. I like that this while it does have similarities to the regular Starfleet design, it does look different. And here we have New Savick and poor David.
I wonder if they reused the Reliant. It looks like they reused the Reliant for this.
The Reliant bridge, it looks a lot like it. But then again, they sometimes bridge design across different ships in real life can be similar.
Well, if they can modularize it, they will. That's just much better cost efficient.
Right, especially if it's made by the same company or dry dock or whatever.
And now they find Spock's tube. Uh-oh. And then of course they get the life form reading, and everybody freaks out because there's not supposed to be any life forms other than like plant-based at this point. And they do note when they're looking at the weather patterns, in certain, it's jungle here, it's desert here, it's snowing in the same region.
It's like a Metroid. It's like a Metroid world.
It's it's like, that's not particularly useful, David. Why would you do that? But whatever. And the captain's like, whoa, we're not going, because they want to beam it up. He's like, no, fuck no. And then like, well, we can beam down. And he's like, all right, it's my ass, but don't, basically don't fuck this up.
Yeah, this captain's kind of I ain't gonna do anything until I get permission from permission from Starfleet, and because of that, everybody died because of him.
Why he's the captain of a research vessel. We're gonna get to a scene here in a minute. But I'm gonna talk a little bit more about this.
I should find that font and see if I could just add Nerdporeal to the top.
Oh,
of
to
that.
Yeah.
I had to make this about me. Sorry.
Is it about your mass and long?
Yeah. What does that say? 2 meters.
Oh my!
Can we just take a moment to
no comment.
Check out that futuristic apparel there?
Oh, yeah. Everybody, I don't know what the fuck they're wearing. And it's like they're all dressed up. It's like they're going somewhere. This doesn't look like
Sulu's was my favorite. He had a little brown teal thing going on, and
what I like about it is look at her jewelry. That looks like it's straight out of the TV show, like same era.
Yeah, that's true. I could accept that.
Thing looks like they took one of those old uniforms from the TV show and dyed it. Dyed it peach.
Yeah, that is like a what is that? Yogurt colored.
Yogurt color. Why do I have to wear yogurt? That doesn't seem like everybody else can say nice.
Looks like he's in Vail, getting ready to do a little ski in there. He's got his little ski outfit on.
Yeah, it does. It does. It totally looks like a 70s ski outfit.
At least it's better than the trench coats that they use nowadays. Like that's all they use is trench coats and ugly outfits.
His hair never changed, like Cohen for the entirety of even when he played Bester on Babylon 5 and stuff. He never changed.
I think he wore a piece. Well, I think he wore a piece.
Yeah,
and
like
Shatner wore a piece too.
No shit.
So basically, they're asking, what the fuck, Admiral? What's going on with Dr. McCoy? What's going on with Enterprise? What's going on with Genesis? And McCoy is supposed to be resting, and Kirk's not getting answers out of Starfleet about any of the other stuff. And then when the scene comes up here, and this was just, and you knew Mark Leonard was going to be in it, but when the reveal actually happened, it was great. I was happy. I was so happy to see Sarek. Kirk, I will speak with you alone. He's not fucking around. He's a Vulcan. He's there for a very specific purpose. I don't have time for your peoples.
Friends, fuck off.
Why? Why did you leave him, Kirk?
Yeah.
You basically saying you jeopardized his future or something that I said. And he's like, I saw no future. Because he doesn't understand. And I don't understand this either. And maybe it's just my lack of understanding of Vulcan mysticism. Vulcans die in other ways, in other accidents, whatever. And even if Spock had done the mind thing with McCoy, what happens? I don't know what happens with that. Let's say his body. Let's say it was a traditional death. He's not coming back from the dead, which is a very bizarre thing. What do they do with that?
So I interpreted this. I was thinking because this is kind of problematically written, this part, and I was one of two minds. I was like, either they always when they get the body, they try to get the capture out of it so they can put it in the Catratorium or whatever,
Catratorium.
It means it's preserving. It means
Matt just made up a term, but I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if they can get the body back, they always do try to revive them. So I
think the Falter Pond thing was just I'm sorry to say this, but I think it was just convenience.
It's the MacGuffin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, but my thing was, why do you need the body? I didn't understand why you needed the body.
Well, because they thought the catcher was still in the body.
Well, he thought, Sarek thought it was in Kirk. Only
Well,
his body was in Death Kirk.
Because that's what
So-
Vulcans do.
So this became confusing to me, though. Like I said, I don't know
But
why
if
you
you
needed
follow-
the body if
you
the
follow
Katra
the
is
show
with
a lot,
Very
somebody
good
else.
question.
The Katra is like psionic residue, basically. So it could still be in the original body, like if they had brought it back.
What I didn't get is why Kirk couldn't put together that it wasn't already in McCoy, since he was already in his
Yes.
room acting all weird and stuff.
Like, yeah.
He should have been like, "Oh crap!"
And
That's why he was doing that.
once you knew that, you know where the motherfucking thing is. Why do you need the body back? Why does he have to try to go to Genesis? And he doesn't even know the body exists yet. He doesn't even know that.
Nope.
I mean that's a big leap because they just found the fucking tube on Grissom.
Kirk is like, I'm going to
Grissom
go there,
hasn't
get
thought-
that body, bring it back to life, and put the thing soul back into it. That's Kirk's entire, like, you can see it on his face when he finds out about this and sets the plan in motion. He's like, "Yep, I got my no-win scenario. I'm going to go that there. I'm going to get the body,
Yeah.
I'm going to put it through the transporter and put it back to a living state. We're going to install that cartridge back in his mind, and I'll have my buddy Spock back."
I'm taking a radiated dead body. No problems.
This scene was hard to watch. Not this part, but when he makes Kirk relive that scene, fuck.
Yeah.
That's
I
hard because
almost-
Jim just did this. He just went through this. This is a very fresh wound for him.
I almost feel like if they wouldn't have done that recap in the beginning, I mean, obviously, a person who had never seen the previous movie and wouldn't know what the hell was going on, which is why they had to do it. This, to me, would have been more powerful without having that scene. Or maybe they like pair it or do a flashback thing while this is going on, so it like jumps back and forth, maybe to kind of give you an idea of, I don't know. But this was a very powerful scene. It's just I felt like, because we'd seen the previous one, so we were kind of going through it in our minds. We knew what was happening. So yeah, but
seeing Jim's emotion though, again, when he's doing this and you looking at his eyes, it's like I said, for me, it looked very painful for the character to have to relive again. And I thought it was, and you're right, without the intro, although I did like the intro. So I'm of two minds. And then he makes them watch the fucking video like a dick. Because they're trying to figure out where's the Katra. I assumed it was with you. And then Jim had said we were separated. He couldn't touch me. And Sarek's getting ready to say, well, fuck off then. And then Jim's like, if it was that important, he would have found a way.
Found a way, yeah. And then, of course, they added that the whole thing was added for the sake of, to make a sequel. So they had to write around this scene. This is something that Nimoy kind of came up with. Like, give us something that will probably be, lead into the next movie. And he did that. He did the mind melt. Remember.
They already had the movie after this one teed up already, right? When they finished shooting this one?
There was 2 was so successful, they said, let's definitely plan a 3 and a 4.
Okay.
If I remember reading Starlog way back in the day, that was a lot.
Starlog.
I had no idea.
Dude, where's my Katra?
Yeah, right. Really. It's a very quick data transfer there,
And then he asks him to do the impossible. One alive, one not, both in pain or both suffering. And if you honor them both, you will do this. And then Jim makes it. He swears that he will do it because he's Jim Kirk, and that's that level of friendship and loyalty that is at the core of this movie.
That's what I love about this movie. And I saw this as a kid. I saw this as a kid who didn't have any friends. So seeing seeing just the integrity, the loyalty, the friendship really moved me. Like I think this is the movie that cemented me. I mean, I was 11, so I didn't quite understand what was going on in Wrath of Khan. So Wrath of Khan was the first thing I saw, but then I watched this one. I didn't watch motion picture right away. I started with Wrath of Khan, and I saw this one.
Probably best, quite honestly.
And this is I loved. I hear the scene, I get emotional every time.
The scene, as great as the scenes were, it's a narrative flaw because
Yeah.
the Vulcans have their own fleets of ship, and I'm pretty sure Sarah can go like send a fleet. Send like 10 ships. I want my son's body back.
Yeah.
It's
the writing.
Kirk, I'm putting you in command of 55 Vulcan ships. Go there and get my son's body. I'm pretty sure Sarah could just like do that.
But then years later, you realize the Vulcans are a bunch of dicks. Especially in Enterprise.
Yeah, right.
I will say this about this scene, though. When I saw this and scenes like this when I was young, this imprinted on me what you should strive for in friendship. Like, this is how friends act towards each other. This is how you're loyal. This is a display of honor and those kinds of things. And that's what these kind of watching these movies kind of imparted to me.
It did.
You know,
Jim Kirk was an important factor in molding, I guess, my adult leadership skills. Now, granted, you're not kicking down doors, but there's an awful lot you learn from Jim Kirk. Back to poor Grissom.
It's that captain. It's that captain.
What's his name? Esteban, Esteban.
Yeah, I mean, did that ship even have shields? Like,
I know, right?
Well, no, they weren't. So we're getting there. We're getting to the part that really fucking irritates me.
It's the weakest ship in the fleet around the most important planet.
Yeah, they're one of the hot. It's a galactic hotspot. Whatever, fine. So they beam New Savick and soon to die David down to the jungle. They find a tube, which whatever gravity was in flux. It might have soft landed, and they find these nasty buggers.
Microbes.
Microbes on the tube, and this is where Savick starts. The wheels start turning. She's like, "Well, how are they so evolved?" And David just like, "I don't know, whatever." I don't know.
Matter.
When in fact he did know. So they open up the they open up the box, and which I thought was a little bit weird too. What I don't know what the point was in opening it other than for us, the audience, to know that there was no body in there. But if you go to it seemed very disrespectful. You just, I don't know. I thought it was weird. I still think it's weird. Then you got naked Spock running around.
Yeah, and what did he like? Fold up his clothes and put them away before he like bounced out?
Before he just got the fuck out of there.
Yeah,
sure. Otherwise, it would just be more of a heap. But
reverted
whatever.
To a kid form or whatever.
And how young did he become? Was he like baby Spock for a minute, and then?
I actually think that would have been cool if they would have heard a baby crying and they would have went out and it was like infant Spock.
Yes,
that's weird.
We do get to another writing flaw with the fetus Spock,
Star Child Spock,
Spock sperm. This is another weird writing flaw point in the movie, though, is the aging of Spock, because it is tied to the planets. He starts off as a boy when they meet him. We'll get there in just a second. Here you hear the weather starts shifting. There's like these big crashing sounds, and then you hear in the background, a boy screaming out.
That was Frank Welker's voice from Transformers.
Megatron.
Really?
Yeah, Frank Welker.
Who knew? That's weird.
Frank Welker is very accomplished.
You know more weird shit than I do, and that's impressive. And so now Jim's trying to get. I don't remember what the admiral's name is. Commander Starfleet to let him go back.
I love the smoking.
Is this Admiral Cartwright or Admiral Invold? Those were two of the ones from the books that they kept using. And
yeah, I never remember. I just remember it's like.
I'll go look it up.
And he's like, well, if you won't give me a ship, I'll hire a ship. I'll steal a ship. And he's like, Jim. And then the line is funny though. Your entire career has been based on, rationality, and basically it's like you met Jim Kirk before.
You sure you get the right personnel file there, Betty?
Because Jim's his career certainly hasn't been based on being rational a lot of the time. He's a good commander, but he's very by the seat of his pants. And he just, he has a lot of good fortune on his side.
Huh. John Larroquette was in this movie as one of the Klingons.
Really?
Yep, he plays
From
Maltz.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh my God.
He plays Maltz. Remember
Oh,
Maltz?
really? That's
No,
true. Don't you? That's the first.
Nimoy calls him the thoughtful Klingon.
Admiral Morrow.
Okay.
Okay, I can accept that because I don't know, but I accept that as name. It's IMDb. They're usually very good. So and he basically tells Kirk, "No, fuck off." And then I like when Kirk's leaving. So, what was the answer, Admiral? The answer was no. I'm therefore going anyway. And they're like, "Well, do you want some help?" And he's like, "Sure." I don't know what the fuck Chekhov is wearing here, though. This neck thing is very bizarre. He's got some strange collar. He looks like a pilgrim of some.
It looks like a tie if you cut the bottom part off of it.
It's just
Yeah.
weird. It's a weird.
Sulu.
I like it better when he was just wearing the the yogurt suit.
And Sulu's got a little leather cape thing on,
Yes, he does.
foreshadowing.
Oh my!
Everybody
And then
knew he was
he,
gay then, but as
What
a
the
kid,
hell?
you didn't.
What the is that alien behind McCoy?
I don't know.
It's
I
Destro.
don't know.
Don't-
It's
That's
Destro.
He survived into the 24th century.
He's got an ascot on or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bose has like the disco suits. He's styling.
Yeah.
He
Well,
was,
So
he's
he's
really
going here
cool.
too.
he was still doing the disco in the beginning.
Oh,
of most
yeah,
of the
look at
picture.
that.
The
He's-
beard.
He's like one step away from a leisure suit.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's at the bar. He's looking to hire a ship. He meets this guy, and this was a fun character. He's not in it very long, but he's a fun character.
Money.
Your
you
planet, welcome.
I think
think
that's
that's
my
my
line,
line.
stranger.
If the Ferengi had
Oh.
existed at the time, this would have been a good spot for one.
If who had?
If the Ferengi as a race had existed in Star Trek,
Oh, yeah.
this would have been a
We
good
got the
spot.
ears. We got the ears for it.
And so they have a
Okay.
conversation about contract the ship, where, where are we going? I've got money. We'll get the destination. Ah,
Matara restricted.
system restricted. Many
Perm-
permits. Yeah. And you can't get permits to do a damned illegal thing. And Genesis, damn you. The name of the place we're going is Genesis.
allowed is not.
What
Yeah.
you got here? Your ears are bigger.
So- This is like, what, 2 months later at most? How does everyone know about this? Why do the country
I'm
have
not
to
even
steal
sure
it if
what the
everyone knows
time
about it?
passage is here. It doesn't seem like it's long. Oh, Daniel. Hello, my friend. Happy Star Trek stream. Yeah, I think so. I think all Star Trek streams, except for maybe Star Trek 5, are happy streams. I heard you talking. You don't want to be discussing this here. And I'll talk about whatever I damn want to. And
Flashes the badge.
yeah, he's like, yeah, I'm Star Trek security. Damn it. And then he tries to do the pinch, and that was hilarious. Come on.
You're gonna get a nice long rest, Doctor.
It was funny. It's not hilarious humor, but it was good situational humor.
I like how he has his tongue is licking his lips while
Yeah,
he's doing
like
it
he's
too.
trying to
Put some
Oh,
effort into
Lord.
it.
Just like something
Oh,
out of a
God.
Robert Jordan book. Right, Daniel?
Oh Lord. And now we're back on Genesis. And this is where we have snow in the desert, which is a weird thing to have, but whatever. Yeah, the effort on his face, Daniel says. Yes. Clearly humanoid tracks. They radio back to Grissom, and the cap's like, well, proceed with extreme caution, Savick. Sure. Thank you. That's very helpful.
I mean, it's not like Savick couldn't just rip his arms off if she wanted to. You know what I mean? She's not like
She is
she's
Vulcan.
blatantly superhuman, and he's warning her. It's like
She's a Vulcan
Yeah, he's-
Roma hybrid, and
Because he's kind of a twat. The captain's kind of a twat.
plus she has actual
Oh, yeah.
military training, and he's warning her.
So now they're going to visit McCoy. I don't like these security guys.
He looks like a golf course. Like,
No, their
golf
uniforms
course
are not good, but I don't like their attitude.
Yeah, I was going
towards
to
the
bring that
officers.
up.
There's no fucking way. I get it. You're security. Well, whoopee fucking do. He's an admiral and he's a commander. You are not addressing him in the way that you are addressing them. I mean, sure, there's some comedic effect, but as far as actual military stuff goes, not a fucking chance. And so he's going to see him. He's like, yeah, you've got 2 minutes, basically, get the fuck out.
He's like, you should be even grateful I'm even looking in your direction. I'm even uttering a fucking word to you. Excuse my language.
Maybe that first interaction would have been a more casual, he's not in uniform. And
a little bit.
But the next one with Sulu,
isn't good.
No way.
There's a deleted scene of that security guy being shipped off to like Pluto or something. Like, why?
Yeah.
You know who you were talking to? So Jim's talking to Bones, and this scene I thought was again funny. So he's how many fingers am I holding up? That's not very damn funny.
Well, at least your sense of humor returned.
he breaks out some kind of medicine stuff. I don't remember what he says it is.
You're suffering from a Vulcan mind melt, Doctor.
That green-blooded son of a bitch.
I knew it was getting back.
It's his revenge for all those arguments
he lost.
I'll give you some catroprofen,
Oh, it's just great. And so now they figured it out, and they're going to get McCoy the fuck out. And so he comes in. He's like, I need Admiral Kirk. Commander Starfleet wants him immediately. And so he wanders off to get him. Then he starts talking to this guy because this guy yawns, and Sulu's like, keeping you busy? And he's like, don't get smart, Tiny. It's like, bro, you just got demoted. You just got an automatic demotion.
What rank is he? At this point,
and Sulu's a commander. At this point.
Yeah. I think they're all commanders except for Spock. Spock was the only captain.
Spock's captain. Scotty's also a captain.
I thought he was commander. I guess
no, he's a captain.
Okay.
Yeah, the rank
look like the one from Star Wars on the Death Star, the Imperial mini caps. I wonder if they just reused them and painted colored them or whatever.
And those are just goofy looking hats.
Yeah. Like baseball kit, like baseball.
They're a weird European meter attendant.
Yeah,
maybe they're fans of that Pike City baseball team on Cestus 3 from Deep Space Nine.
Oh God! So here it is. Yeah, don't get smart, Tiny. Okay, great, whatever. You gotta
look at that hat. I want that hat now.
Look at
that hat.
Well, it's got our solar system on it, which is kind of clever.
I want that guy's mustache. Look at that.
80s,
that's killer.
80s mustache.
And they get McCoy out. Sulu shoves the dude up against the wall, zaps the thing, and says,
I love that sound effect.
Tiny. Oh, it is. That was neat. It was a good escape. I enjoyed it. And then we're on board Excelsior, catching up with Scotty.
Love his riding crop.
Mr. Scott.
What the hell?
Fuck? This dude is such a prick.
What the hell is he going to beat with in Space?
I don't know. I hate
the Hellsman. So smack him.
This actor plays pricks very well.
Yes, he looks like a prick.
Do you ever watch Hill Street Blue?
Oh yeah.
He played the SWAT commander.
One of these days, we'll beat Enterprise's record.
Yeah, are looking forward to beating Enterprise's speed record. And Scotty's just like, whatever.
You mean the one we went to another galaxy? You mean that one?
Yeah, right.
Warp 14.
And then we
warped back in space time. Yeah.
With Uhura and Lieutenant
Mr. Adventure. Mr. Adventure.
And the way he talks to her is also very disrespectful. This might be fine for someone like you whose career is winding down.
He calls her old. He calls her old without saying it. You see how she raised her eyebrow when he said that? I thought, she's gonna kill him. So that made her pointing the gun at him even more funny.
Yes. So Kirk and Sulu and McCoy walk in. He's like, "My God, that's Admiral Kirk." Well, what are we gonna do? I'm not going to do anything. You're going to get in the closet.
Oh my!
And
yeah, getting some excitement now. A little bit.
Maybe George Takei was smiling when she said that.
Yeah, I was going to make a joke about that.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
I'm glad you're on our side.
Yeah, and she's like, "And Admiral, all my hopes." And I don't know what she really meant for that. Because again, they had no idea what was about to happen. We're still on that. I don't understand the mission exactly. I know where he's going. I know that Sarek wants him to go there. I still don't fully understand the why, but I guess you don't need to. You don't need to believe it. So
Kirk's jacket. Daniel points that out. He has the coolest leather jacket.
It is nice.
That collar kind of props up and
like his away team jacket in Wrath of Khan.
Yeah.
Totally not within regs, by the way. So, and that's where she delivers the All My Hopes line, and out they go. And you don't quite know where they're going at this point, but you figure it out very quick. I like that when the scene starts, the lights are out on the bridge. It's a dark, and then that light comes on.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And again, check off that fucking suit, bro. You look like a weirdo.
It's like some Polish 70s.
Yes,
he looks like a Yugoslavian pimp.
Yeah,
or something.
Yeah, some kind of Slavic, musician outfit from the 70s or 60s.
Very strange, very peculiar. Not good.
They should have had Sulu keep his cloak for the entire movie, though.
Oh yeah,
his leather cloak,
little leather cape.
So they're on Enterprise.
I love this scene right here where he tells them, yeah.
Dr. McCoy and I are the ones that need to go. The rest of you, I can't ask. And
we're losing precious time.
We're wasting. Yes, and it's just that, again, you have the loyalty that they have for their captain and their friend. And Mr. Scott, I'd be grateful if you'd give the word, Captain.
Yeah, this really moved me as a kid. I was just, it made me realize that there are good. I mean, that there's potential for good people out there. So.
And Kirk's just genuinely touched by their response, which I think he probably was hoping they were going to do, but they didn't have to. Any one of them could have said, fuck off.
That's probably what George Takei wanted to say.
Probably. And so, and then you got the line, Scotty, what is it? 2 trainees and a chimp?
Yeah, 2 trainees and a chimp could pilot this thing.
I'll try not to take offense, Mr. Scott. But it's great because it's like the ship is still, it's just them. And it feels like it's just them. It's like, the rest of the ship is quiet, dark.
Yeah, it's exciting to see. It's between the music and them.
So good.
Look at this. This is beautiful. This is such beautiful visuals right here.
Enterprise backing the fuck up. Yeah, they go to yellow alert.
Yeah, how can you be yellow alert in the space dock? Sir, somebody's stealing the Enterprise.
I'm on my way.
I'm on my way.
Tending to his pedicure. Prick.
Narcissist.
Transwarp.
Transwarp factor.
Hey.
There's that douche.
That's Miguel Ferrer right there. Yeah.
And he's dead now, right?
Yeah, he passed away a few years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Transwarp drive is fully operational, Captain. Incredible machine. Whatever. Fuck off.
Nobody tell the Borg.
Yeah. And they're backing up, and the space doors are not open yet.
Are we just going to go through them? Calm yourself, Doctor. He's like, calm yourself, Doctor.
This is the space doors. I'm working on it, Captain.
Yeah, the darker.
And go ahead.
I was going to say the darker bridge, how they don't have a full crew complement, so some of the stations are unlit or they're not, they don't have overhead lighting. It makes the bridge look a lot smaller than it did in the previous movie.
Yeah, true.
That's true.
So the prick calls over to Enterprise. Oh, there's the doors. Yeah,
That's
because
awesome.
and you get like the 30-second to impact warning, and Scott, it's like, now, Mr. Scott. He's like, sir, the doors, Mr. Scott. Hi, sir. I'm working on it.
Kirk, if you do this, you'll never sit in that captain's chair again.
Captain's chair again. And Kirk just doesn't. He just fucking ignores that ass hat.
That's what makes. I love Shatner's Kirk.
Okay, so.
It's like, you're not even worth my fucking time to respond to.
Just from a technical point of view now, I have a problem with this. Because the ship literally should have been rotating on its axis to turn around. It should not U-turn around. You know what I mean? Like there's no air resistance in space. You know what I mean? Like the ship should be able to do,
literally, yeah.
This, it should literally just do this.
And if rotate from its center
momentum
axis
would mean it would be looking like this, like it would, you know what I mean? Because there would be some momentum, but it shouldn't do I think it does this, And it shouldn't have to do that. It should just have to. You should see it literally rotating in and then drifting off to the side a little. I know that's a little nerdy, but that's left over from the debate forum.
I mean, also there's no sound in space either, and Star Trek kind of breaks.
That's true. There's all kinds of stuff.
They're called sonons.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
That's when the guy delivers the line to him, and he just stands there like, oh, fuck off. Now there it is. There it is. He just looks like such a dick. Hey, look at the smirk on her face. Fuck off, weird crewman. She's a lieutenant or something.
I love this shot right here.
Yeah. I mean, Enterprise coming around and the Excelsior coming around the other side. It's the moon.
You shouldn't see Excelsior doing this. You should see it doing like this and drift it like that.
Because it's like it's coming down and around.
Like it should be rotating on an axis as the ship slides this way for momentum. It shouldn't be turning like a car, basically.
The Enterprise gets the fuck out of there. And Excelsior is prepping for trans warp drive.
With the emphasis on the trans.
Uh-huh.
And then he tries to engage in it and starts making some fucked up noises. Boop, beep, boop, boop, boop. And he's like, oh. And he's like, oh no. And you get all these flashes that the panel's just turning different colors. And then you end up with, good morning. Up your shaft. And then off goes Enterprise. And from one surgeon to another.
Yeah, that's awesome. This was awesome.
You could have told me beforehand.
That's what you get for missing staff meetings, Doctor.
Staff meetings. I love that line. I use that line.
Look at Chekhov in the back. Oh my God.
I know. A weird little gnome.
He looks like he's wearing like a kid's outfit from like the 1890s or something.
It looks like Mr. Rogers with that look.
It's the collar,
sweater, and everything.
Yeah.
Like when McCoy is talking to Scotty, it was interesting. Out of nowhere, he dropped a Spock science fact, like, "Oh, did you disrupt the so and so?" You know what I mean? And they look at him like what's going on? You know what I mean? Just a little sort of like Spock.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the whole one surgeon to another thing when he gives him the parts he took off of there.
Yeah, the from one surgeon to another.
Yeah.
Took them out of a trans warp computer.
He does look like Carl Sagan. Chekhov.
Mm-hmm.
What? Oh, maybe.
Dempsey put down. I'm telling you, that's Carl Sagan. Yeah. Pale blue dot, Carl Sagan.
He's probably thinking, damn it, why do they all get to be in the camera scene? I have to sit here in the background. That's what that
fucking weirdo.
Well, he had his spotlight in Wrath of Khan, and they're like, you know what?
Yes.
I think you know what I think? I think it's because he did not want to scream again. He's like Leonard, I don't want to scream again. Or actually, he's not Russian. Leonard, I don't want to scream again. And then because of that, they put him in the background. All Chekhov knows how to do is scream.
Like
there's no motion picture. He screamed in Wrath of Khan.
Yeah. I think it's why the next movie he gets all the nuclear vessels.
Yes, nuclear vessels. And now again with New Savick and soon to die David, checking out where did they find? It's a naked Vulcan.
Hey, they're in the
He's
dress.
probably 7 or so here, is what it looks like. And they radio back. They found a Vulcan child, and Captain Esteban's like, Savick, that's incredible.
That's
and so
extraordinary.
Instead of just beaming him up, which I guess is the good thing that they didn't. And they, things go real bad real quick here. Yes, it's a fucking Vulcan. We could tell. We knew who it was. You don't need to show us the ear, but they show us the ear anyway. That's fine. Little overkill with the ear. And then they tell the captain. Everybody looks shocked. It's like, okay, cool. These uniforms, whatever the guy in the background is wearing there, that's not good. It looks like a nurse's outfit.
The thing that Chekhov has on with a white vest over it.
Kind of, yeah. You're right. It's the same.
The velour uniform.
And things go poorly because the Klingons show up, and this is where I have a big fucking problem. It's the Genesis planet. You have an exploration ship there. That's not a combat ship. You have nothing else there to keep an eye on them in case somebody with bad intention shows up. It's fucking absurd.
Maybe they're doing the whole Obi-Wan show thing where they're like, "Oh, it's so secret that we don't need defenses."
I have
Or
a bigger problem with this.
you know,
Everybody in fucking Spaceport knew about the place, so
I have a bigger
Exactly.
problem with this.
Genesis. That guy knew.
Why did they erase the Organians, preventing the Klingons and humans from fighting?
Why they what?
What?
Do you remember the Organians
Oh,
said
yeah.
we're not going to let humans and Klingons fight anymore? You'll become fast friends over the next 100 years, whatever the plot line was. There should be no
I
reason.
guess the Organians had better things to do. I guess they moved into an even higher plane of existence and they fucked off.
they kind of just
And they were forgot.
Yeah.
Then the writers probably forgot about them too.
Like it would have been like, to me, I would have done it where he tries to fire but can't, and he goes, "Damn Organians!" Then Fake's going on board. Oh, we'll be friends. Goes on board, and then
the Organians stripped them of their means to declare like interstellar war.
Yeah.
Skirmishes. I don't think. I think skirmishes.
that's why the Romulans got new or the Klingons got new ships. They
Yeah.
tricked him. See, we're not Klingon. Surprise, you know.
The hell? Sorry. So anyway, so your unprotected science vessel around the most controversial planet in the system is getting attacked by the fucking Klingons.
You think there'd be more ships there? Now that you guys have said it, you would think there'd be way more ships there at Genesis.
It's just an absurd idea that you would do this, but whatever. That's the plot. So you got your Klingon here. You had target engine only. Oops, and they blow the fucking thing up.
Yeah,
and
I
then
think
of course
Esteban forgot to raise shields.
I don't think Esteban was a very good skipper. Like I said, there's a reason why he's commanding a science research vessel instead of commanding, an adventure ship.
So, in the fan base, what's happening with the Klingon vessel here? This led to the running joke in Next Generation where Worf would fire the weapons to disable the engines and blow the ship up, and that's where the fandom joke from that started, which was this. That Klingons disable the engines by blowing the ship up. That's the
That a very direct way of doing it. Yeah. And then, of course, he shoots the dude. It's like, I told you to target engines only. Lucky shot. And he vaporizes him. Oh, there he is. Lucky shot.
No. Yeah, brutal.
Ah!
Nowhere near as creepy as the Wrath of Khan vaporizes. Oh
agreed,
my god.
Agreed.
That never gets old, or that never ceases to get my skin to crawl.
So the other Klingon, the dude sitting next to Vaporized dude, calls to the captain to what's his name? Krug
maybe.
Yeah.
The Jimmy Gutowski in space. And he's like, say the wrong thing, Malt. Say the wrong thing.
I wonder, and this was a decade before Pulp Fiction, where you say what again?
Say what one more time, motherfucker.
Yeah.
And he's like, if there's prisoners you're after, there are life forms on the planet. Okay. And that's where we get them down on the planet.
Yeah, and this is where those microbes
even
further. Now they're like worms. They're like giant worms. I wonder if another 2 days would they be like the Dune worms?
Yeah,
or something.
Oh yeah, no, just
ravaging the planet.
Yeah.
So this is where Saavik starts talking to him about, what the fuck did you do here, dude? This is not right. These things should not be. And he tells her about the proto matter, and she's like, dude, the fuck.
Very highly unstable.
We cheated.
He cheated, just like your father. I don't like her tone, by the way. And here it is, big worm, and the guys are just letting it happen. It's like, I don't know, fuck this guy.
Well, I mean, Krug's the commander. He's got to be strong, I think.
I always like that.
Looks like maybe Krug wants a snack.
Quite nasty.
How slimy and shitty that is, and he's got it all over his hands now. It's like,
it's got these spiky things all over it. Fuck that thing.
I'm curious if they would have helped him. Do you think he would have probably shot them too?
Maybe as a sign of.
How dare you help me?
When he dies, one of them
think
comes
I
captain,
couldn't fight for myself? Still yelling at David. That goes on for a while, I think. Look at that look. I get that look sometimes from Mrs. of the Empire. I've really fucked up if I'm getting that look.
Yeah, that's not a good look.
So they're on their way to Grissom. Or not on their way to Grissom specifically. They're on their way to Genesis. They know Grissom is there though. And now Spock is growing, and this is the Vulcan sex scene is coming up. The Pon farr is upon him. Is that what is Dempsey? It's a Calypso shrimp for the bar.
Yeah, right. Really. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just dinner for Klingon. They do eat some fucked up stuff. That's very accurate. Okay, so Pon farr is coming. They have the Vulcan sex. I don't know. Let's go with it. And now, what? Oh, so they're picking up the Federation ship coming into space, into their territory. And of course, it's Enterprise, and the Klingon commander gets beamed back aboard his vessel.
I love that shot.
Isn't that fucking beautiful?
Yeah. Yes.
She got a nice ass on her, Enterprise.
No matter how bad New Trek can be, it will never break my love for these movies in the original series.
No, and I don't include the Kelvin universe. I don't include that
neither
because
do I.
it is a separate timeline. All of this happens. Fuck all of that. The Kelvin universe. And yeah, so he gets the call from Maltz. I told you I didn't want to be interrupted. There's a Federation ship, a battle cruiser coming in now. Beam me up. He leaves the the twins down here with with not quite Spock, new Savick, and soon to be dead David. And he's like, where the fuck is Grissom? That's damn peculiar.
And then they see I think they see the energy surge and they figure it out right away. Because I was like, no, they're walking into a trap. I was 11, so I didn't know. And they're like, oh, they knew.
They're throwing them around like rag dolls.
The other thing is they should have been able to detect the debris field from the Grissom as well.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. I agree.
I forget what's going on here. Basically,
my big problem here is why
they're listening. They're listening. They know it. They know the Enterprise is there.
Oh, it's Enterprise. Yeah. That's and David gets the look.
But like, why isn't Savick taking these two dudes out? She could like one shot them. I mean, literally, we know how strong Vulcans are, so she could like literally put her fist through their foreheads.
Because it was the 80s, and
yeah. Hey, I also think that young Spock, doesn't he kind of look like the son from Breaking Bad, the one that's got cerebral palsy? It might just be me.
It's funny that you bring up Breaking Bad. I actually thought of someone, those two Klingons. I think of the two twins, the two Salamanca twins from Breaking Bad. It's funny that you brought up Breaking Bad too, or thought of Breaking Bad too.
I watched this today and I was like, man, that guy looks just like that guy.
What was his son's name? I don't remember.
Walter Jr. Walter Jr.
That's right.
Yeah, he had cerebral palsy.
That's actually the actor. It's not
and what's funny is they actually reference this movie. Hey, Saul Goodman's like, hey, even the Starship Enterprise had a self-destruct because they want to get rid of they need to make their drug RV disappear, and they don't have a means to.
See, this is this son, just don't.
I definitely recommend these 6 movies, Blue Collar Guy. You don't have to watch the original series. You can just watch these films. They're amazing.
So
start with 2. Start with 2, though.
Yeah, start with 2. I like 1, but it's not for everybody. 2 is universally loved.
1 is more art house, kind of.
Yeah, I like 1 a lot. And this is where they're talking about the energy surge. Like, what did you think you see? It was an energy surge. And they're pointing at nothing.
What are you thinking? Cloaking device.
Yeah, because you can actually kind of see the outline.
Yeah.
Right here of the bird of prey.
That's a great shot too.
And
I love it when they show planets like that. I love it when they show planets like that where you see only a very small part of it, just to show how truly big the world is.
Yeah, because they're very low.
Yeah,
as far as their orbit goes. And now they're in battle mode. The things start going wrong quickly for them as well. But I don't remember what he's thinking here. I don't remember the lines here, but
he's waiting for the right time to fire or to attack.
Oh yes. Target engines only.
Like he's got the eyes of a predator right now. He's just like he's eyeing them, and he's like,
well,
but
he knows the ship outguns him if it's full, in general.
And Kirk has the thought that they're going to have to decloak to fire.
Oh, by the way,
so they're just waiting and watching that energy surge.
And he told the other gunner, engines only. And the gunner's like,
got it.
Now, is this the first time they reference Kellicams as a unit of measurement for the Klingons?
I don't know,
because they're using them. They're like 1,000 Kellicams in closing.
Yeah, probably.
And I know that Worf has used them before in different movies and shows that he's in and whatever. So I was just wondering.
Yeah, it's the first time we really had anything to do with the Klingons in the movie. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. So Enterprise is got their photon torpedoes ready to go here for the one functional torpedo tube.
Now, there's the other thing: is maybe the ship is still messed up from all the battle damage or something, but they should know that they outgunned this thing by quite a bit. So why didn't he put the shields up?
Well, also here's
maybe because they wouldn't have decloaked then. Okay.
Why does Enterprise have photon torpedoes on board? They're decommissioning her. Why does she have any weapons on board?
Maybe because they brought a couple. I don't know.
They haven't remembered yet. So
but really, though, if you're going to decommission the ship, I'm just looking. Like I said, these are just those minor things that kind of like.
Well, and if we were going to go down that road, there would have been people on the ship already anyway.
Oh, pulling her apart. Yeah. Ripping out.
Things you can still use. They take it to a decommissioning joint.
In the Peril, you got a bail.
I do.
I see it. I'm sorry, buddy.
That's all right. But yeah, thanks for having me. This is a beautiful film. Even if it's even with all the problems, and sure there's plenty with this, but it's one of my favorites. It's one that'll never get old. And and believe it or not, I actually used a portion of the ending for my wheel. I conflate Wheel of Time because I've been doing Wheel of Time streams with Prophet and all the guys, and Daniel was on with us last Sunday. But I use Star Trek music to basically promote or to open the show and to end the show. So I used the music, and I used the adventure continues from the motion picture to say, hey, this series is going to keep going and everything. So, but thanks for having me. I love talking Trek. So if anybody, if you're looking for someone that likes to talk these originals, the original series, the 6 movies, all of Trek actually, then let me know. Hit me up. I'm on Twitter. I'm here, and I'm on what's it called? Instagram. Yeah, Instagram. So
yep.
Yeah, I'm doing
in a couple weeks, dude, for Star Trek 4. If you're game and
a couple weeks, Christmas week.
No, not next week. Next week is Christmas week.
The New Year's week then.
When is Christmas?
It's a week from the Sunday.
Yeah, right. It's on Sunday.
Not this weekend coming up, but the following weekend is Christmas. So so this Thursday coming up, I probably won't be doing a show, but I probably won't do a show at all. But the following Thursday, because New Year's is Saturday, New Year's Eve is Saturday, and New Year's Day is Sunday, I think, if my memory serves. So that Thursday will probably be right for Star Trek 4 if everybody is up for it. But anyway, I'm just throwing it out there. Thanks for coming by there, Faltonporial. I mispronounced the fuck out of that, but that's okay. Always good to have you. Yeah. Bring a great wellspring of knowledge with you. So thanks for coming by, dude.
No problem. Thanks for having me. I would stay if I wasn't doing at 9 p.m. or doing my own stream. I'm doing a Gremlin stream, And the question is that a Christmas movie?
And the answer is yes.
Yes. So other than that, everybody, so yeah, stay here, watch Roman sing, and if I'm still on, come join us afterwards. All right?
Yeah.
Take care.
All right.
All right. Have a good
Later,
one.
buddy.
Yes, Gremlins is definitely a Christmas movie.
Obviously a Christmas movie. So obvious. So the photon torpedo that shouldn't be there is loaded up and ready to go. And they decloak, and Sulu targets and fires. And this, of course, takes the Klingons completely by surprise. And they're like, fuck. And, things start blowing up. And the unfortunate demise of the dog here comes up. And Kirk's like, nice shooting or something of that.
Yeah,
but it didn't do a ton of damage. He hurt him, but he didn't hurt him nearly bad enough.
Well, he's not a Klingon shooting the engine, so the ship survived.
Well,
Yeah, right.
So the Klingons are coming back around though, and the dog got killed. He's very sad.
Yeah, his little tongue hanging out. Look at that. See?
Little
Little
fork
tongue
tongue.
hanging out. Yep. So sad.
It's very emotional. So he's pissed. They're coming back around and fire. And Enterprise is not in shape to take damage at this point. There's because, as Scotty said, I mean, he wired it to run on automatic. He didn't intend on taking them into battle. And so the Klingons shoot and they target the engine. Nice shooting, very accurate, as it was ordered by their captain. And they take a tumble. And Kirk asks, are we going to be able to return fire? And things start zapping all over the fucking command console. And Scotty's like, I don't think so, sir. And now they're exposed and dead in the water. Not of an enviable position. And then they start having a conversation. Kirk tries to bluff and make them surrender. And the Klingon commander's like, you know what? I think you're full of shit. I want you to surrender. And Kirk's like, oh, fuck. All right. Well, he kind of got me.
Yeah. He's all
like, I'm so fucked.
1.21 gigawatts.
Totally fucked right now. And they start talking about he has hostages down on the planet. And makes them talk to Saavik. And then he talks to unfortunate David. And this is where David fucks up. Genesis doesn't work, sir. It's a failure. I can't believe they'd kill us for it. Okay, good. Your young friend is wrong, Captain. And to prove it, kill one of the hostages now. I don't care which.
And this is where Saavik should have literally ripped the dude's head off. Just reach out and rip his head off. And then she goes, one of them is definitely dead, Klingon Commander. It's like
the waste of a character.
Here's where David fucks it up. I just can't believe he said that. I guess I can. He's a scientist. He doesn't think in terms of, you just told the Klingons that they'd have no balls. Okay, what did you think they were going to do?
And this is because he was raised by his mother with no info from his father.
Uh-huh.
So Kirk would have taught him to be an ass kicker.
See, if he had some father influences in him, he would have.
So it's a cautionary tale then.
So Kirk's like, no, please don't kill any of the hostages. Really, I care about. And Saavik also told Jim about a certain Vulcan scientist. He's alive? He is, but he's not himself. And so he cares about each and every one of these people, probably one more than the rest, including David.
Mm-hmm.
David fucks up. Klingon's just looking at him like, what the fuck did he just say? Kirk's like, please don't kill anyone. And that's where he's like, I don't care, kill one of the hostages. I don't care which. And so bro with the forehead's walking around behind them so he can't quite see. And David, to his credit, sees that he's going to kill Saavik, and he takes action like a Kirk. It doesn't go well for him though, because he's not Klingon built, and nor does he have his father's fighting skills.
No training either. He's
and
also, like,
takes a knife to the center.
bad
Makes
writing
a
again.
really awkward sound.
Why is Savick staying there like a lump?
I know. It's like, you really did go to Starfleet, girl.
I mean, plus Spock's protege. You'd think he would have taught us some Vulcan kung fu that is like lethal beyond belief. You know, you remember
And
that?
take advantage of the chaos.
Like
There's
Vulcan
no chaos.
ninja kung fu that could one shot kill people. That Savick was a master. Not Savick. Sarek was a master of, and all that. Yeah.
But nope. She stands there and literally does nothing.
He gets gutted.
So it was a terrible sound when he got killed. Though I felt kind of bad. I didn't have a lot of emotional.
He dies to set up Kirk's fight with Kruge. That's the only reason they kill him.
Yeah, it was such a waste of a character.
rip doggo reptile thing.
Yeah.
Well, furthermore, why didn't he come back to life? The Genesis planet should have restored him.
Yeah, right.
Maybe he wasn't dead enough. I don't know. Don't ask me to explain these things.
Yeah, because that fight would have happened anyway.
And then Jim's asking, he's
David's dead.
Savick. Captain, I regret to inform you that David is dead. And then this is another actually very powerful scene, though, for William Shatner. He basically collapses on the bridge from this news. And he starts, the Klingon bastard, you killed my son. And he says it louder and louder. Yeah, here he's saying, Klingon, you bastard, you killed my son. And you get looks from both McCoy and Scotty, and I don't know if they really understood. They may or may not have known that David was his son.
McCoy has to know. They're like best buds.
I thought McCoy knew.
I don't know how. No, you're right. He probably did. It's McCoy. Scotty didn't know. He was like the outside man. But he maybe he did. Maybe he did. I don't know. But so that build up to Klingon bastard, you killed my son was. Again, that was a good bit of acting. He is in anguish, and then the Klingon captain, of course, is like, "There's 2 more hostages on the planet, Captain. Do you want them to die too?" Reverend Jim, and he's like, "No, just hold the fuck on, there, Jim." And he just has a moment of collapse where he bangs on the railing. McCoy comes over, he just grabs his arm briefly, and that's all the time he had to grieve. And then he's got to jump back in action as how the fuck am I going to get us out of this?
Well, I think his grieving is, I'm going to kill that motherfucker. Pardon the expression, but I think that's the good. In his mind, he's like, I'm going to grieve by ripping that guy's head off, basically.
So he's back in action, and he's already worked it out. He's like, well, I know what they're going to want. They're going to beam over, and I'm going to blow this motherfucker up. So boarding party is assembled. They're guys. They got jobs, and they want prisoners. He makes that very clear. And then
I think John Larroquette's Klingon Maltz is the only one who survives the whole thing.
No, I think you're right. So they go in with the self-destruct code.
Doesn't this start the whole they got to blow up the Enterprise in every movie now after this one?
I hated that. After
seems like it, yeah.
Like like in it was all the next gen films.
Yeah.
It was like, fuck,
Crash
did you
it,
just
blow
rep
it off.
Enterprise?
Yeah, I was just like, I'm so sick of that. I just want to see the Enterprise kick some ass once.
Yes.
Like, come in and like tear everything up.
Yep.
Well, that's the one reason I like Nemesis of the Next Generation films, because Picard was like, fuck this. I'm going to take that motherfucker down with me.
That one is the best of the Next Generation films. Hands
really?
down.
I like First Contact. That's my favorite.
Oh, no. That's the one I like. First Contact with the Borg Queen, right?
The Borg, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was really good.
was
That's
okay.
really... I don't like any of the other next gen films. I don't like any of the other next gen films. Not one.
Yeah, they all sucked after that.
I didn't like Generations, which is technically a both, but it's more a next gen film. Then First Contact was great. I fucking hated Insurrection.
Is that the one with the guy with the twisty face?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had the fucking rail stretching.
Yeah, with the
and then
Yeah, okay.
I didn't like the plot for Nemesis either, though, with the clone played by a young Tom Hardy. And I didn't like it. I liked First Contact, though. I thought that was a legitimately good fucking movie.
I have problems with Contact if we ever get to it where it changed too much continuity, among other things.
But it's next gen movies. I'm not that devoted to them. So the countdown begins, and this is well executed. Scotty set it up so that they beam out, Klingons beam in. There they go, and there they are.
Chekhov forgot his waiter's tray.
Oh, is he?
No.
Oh no, he's not wearing his little suit. I don't like that now.
He took his collar off finally.
Well, if we're going to be going to the planet, I need to get rid of this color. So the Klingons beam on board, and he's like, "Ship seems deserted."
What's that countdown thing?
The only thing that's talking is the computer. It's like, bro.
What's it saying?
let me listen.
4, 3,
2. Get out of there!
Boom!
Get out of there now! Boom, bitches. It's like I don't think the Klingons would have been that stupid once they heard the self-destruct. Although I don't know if they were in a position to beam out. They might have been fucked anyway. But I don't know why the Klingon ship couldn't have done like locked onto the party, wherever they were. Maybe their tech. What's that?
That tech didn't exist at this time. That's a next generation tech. Intra-ship beaming.
Okay. Okay, I got it. So they had to be in the transporter room to make that work then. And then,
or in a very open area, like on the surface of the ship or something,
Right.
I remember these explosions going off.
Oh, this just hurt my heart so much.
You can just see the ripple effect of that explosion goes through the top of that and breaks the top saucer up.
The numbers, this was very symbolic
Yeah.
of the whole number melting away. And then boom, it's going down to the atmosphere.
Yeah, look how good that looks too.
The effect on that was great.
Yeah.
Whatever that shimmery, almost electronic looking fire is just fucking great. So good.
Now they did some technical consistency here. Before we all cry over this scene, where there's actually 2 self-destruct systems on the Enterprise: the one with the fusion core and the one with the warp core. So the warp core would have just vaporized them, irradiated the planet, yeah. So the back of the ship wouldn't have survived, basically, because the warp core feeds into the nacelles.
Right. So they wouldn't have made it. They wouldn't have made it.
Yeah.
And then her burning up an atmosphere is just really, really well done. It's terrible to watch, but it's beautiful. It's a beautiful shot.
That shot right there. With them on top of the hill looking at it.
It's beautiful, yeah.
And Kirk's like, what have I done?
Yep.
You did what you always do. Gave us a chance.
Yep. Turned death into a fighting chance to live.
He's lost his son, his ship, his crew.
Why haven't I Spocked out lately? What the fuck's going on with me? I wish I'd brought some sorry and brandy with me. And so the lads are there. My heart. Captain, I'm reading some life forms over there. Literally right there. It's like 20 yards away. And the planet is shifting and moving, and it's not a very hospitable atmosphere. And young Spock is having some growing pains, and the Klingon goes over to I don't know why the Klingon goes over. It's like, dude, just you should have just stayed the fuck away. And he feels the need to fuck with Spock, and Spock like tosses him into a tree and just kills him immediately
because he killed him with a backhand. Basically,
he's like really strong, because he's fucking Vulcan. And here it is. Don't touch him. Uh-oh.
You know what's happening though? Remember in the Pon Farr, the Vulcan will mad and will attack people unless the female soothe them with the psychic stuff.
That's what I was going to say. He's Pon Farring out.
That before with him.
You need to put your Pon Farr away, Spock.
Cock block me, buddy.
And so, yeah, throws Klingon aside, and then you get his face transforming, and it's just very bizarre looking because, I mean, it does look like it's extremely painful because his bones are just shifting by the minute as the planet gets older. But this is another writing plot point that is a problem because he's the perfect age when he's, when it's like, you can't fucking time that stuff that way. I mean, it just doesn't work. I can't get a burrito to come out of the fucking microwave without being burnt or frozen in certain areas. But Spock's like perfect. He's nice and golden brown and ready to go.
Well, in the comic or the novel, I forgot which is secondary canon, they established he's actually 20 or 30 years younger physically.
Oh, really? Okay.
But he looks
After Werewolf in London.
Like he's basically a Vulcan teenager, like 25 or 30 physically when he leaves this planet. But in his previous life, he was like 70-something years old or whatever.
Dempsey has a question about what Pon farr is.
Where's Dempsey's question?
Okay.
Oh, Pon farr.
So
who wants to field this?
You want me to do the lore dump?
Yeah, you field this.
Go for
it. Take your time with it because I need to go get my Pon farr out for a second.
Okay, so Vulcans are driven by a mating drive, particularly the males. Every 7 years, it's overwhelming. It calls back to the time when they hadn't suppressed or contained their emotions and their psychic powers with logic and rational thought. And they lose control when this mating drive overcomes them. And Vulcan males will attack other Vulcan males to compete for females, unless the female that they're in an arranged marriage with soothes them psychically or they actually have sex. It's either one or the other, So when Saavik was doing the Pon farr thing earlier with the Naruto peace symbol, by the way, this is the symbol for peace, reconciliation in Naruto. If you didn't know that. If he hadn't done that, he was going to rage and kill David because David will be competing for Saavik. That would have, so she did that. So when Klingon B basically goes to him, he thinks this guy is competing for Saavik, and he just like one shot kills him. And then the other Klingon's like, I'm going to keep my hands off, and so that's the Pon farr, the mating drive. It's it's a really good episode in the original series. I looked the name up. I don't remember it offhand.
It's not the Amok Time. It's that had that great soundtrack though. That dun 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 dun
fight
dun
scene,
dun
yeah.
dun boom boom
Yeah.
boom boom boom.
And
Where they're
it's
fighting
very
with fucking
political, like the
Vulcan weapons. I love that episode.
Yeah, the big scythe kind of.
Yeah, it's got a big knob
think
on
that's
the
the
one side
end
and
of
a
the
blade on the other end.
Yeah.
I
Like
think
it was
it's
trying-
Amok Time.
Trapezoid shakers.
But it's a great
Oh,
episode.
yeah.
Yeah, Blair. Yeah, I
What
remember
is that?
those.
And that's where you meet T'Pau.
Yep.
The first time as well.
The Vulcan female that Spock was supposed to in an arranged marriage with,
Right.
she was a royal bee, a bitch, and she basically was going to manipulate Spock into killing Kirk.
Yep.
So that Spock could go to jail, so she could marry Skan.
Yes.
Because
Who also
Spock
looked like
couldn't beat a full-blooded Vulcan, so either Spock would die to Skan or Kirk would fight. So that
either way, Stan was there. Fuck it. Fuck you, you Vulcan.
Mind you, Kirk got sabotaged in that fight where McCoy basically drugged him to death.
Yep.
So,
And you actually see one of the few emotional moments out of Spock when he beams back over to Enterprise and he's trying to turn himself over to the doctor because he's not fit for command. And then Jim pops up and he's like, Jim, and he smiles. And he's like, I don't understand. It's a great one. And get bizarre looking face change in Spock. And thank you for explaining Pon farr, Matt. And so Kirk and party show up to where now single Klingon is hanging out. And they see what's going on. It's like, what the fuck? He doesn't even ask questions. He just shoots the motherfucker.
there's not going to be a Klingon living through this if Kirk has even the slightest excuse.
No, exactly. And then we get that's why Star Trek 6.
But if I were Kirk, I mean, I'm not trying to pound this point like a moron, but I would be like, Saavik, why didn't you just do something?
Yeah. What the fuck, Saavik?
Yeah.
Seriously, really? Why? And so they all huddle around Spock, and they're just amazed. I forget what McCoy says here. So he'll probably do the effect, if we don't get him off the planet, he's going to die. Because that's like almost always what McCoy says. And she's telling him he should be yelling at her about what the fuck, how come he didn't save my son? But she's telling him that David died bravely. He sacrificed himself to save all of us. And Jim takes, I guess, some solace from that. Planets erupting, fire. And he has the communicator, so he's talking to the Klingon commander now. And this is reminiscent of Wrath of Khan, though, where they're all still alive, and you're fucked. You're gonna have to beam us up if you want to get the secrets of Genesis. And the Klingon commander's like, you know what? I'm gonna come down there.
This is Kirk's last real one-on-one fight. I mean, yeah, there was some stuff in Star Trek V, but that was more like Kirk raffle stomps or plot devices.
Yeah.
This is like Kirk's last run, so to speak.
So Klingon commander shows up. I want Genesis. And Kirk's basically, he's bargaining. He's like, well, you're going to have to beam them up. And then we can talk. And he beams up everybody but Kirk and Spock. And he's like, why not him too? Because you wish it. Because he's pissed off now because his whole fucking crew just got killed.
And he goes full Reverend Jim on him too. Genesis, I want it.
I don't know. Did Kirk say out loud that he know he killed Kirk's son?
Yes, because he said, no, remember, he's like, Klingon bastard, you killed my son.
But did he say that Crude heard him?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, he did. Yes. He definitely heard him.
See, because that could lead to a different interpretation. Like, Cruz could be saying there's a matter of honor here. Like, we have to fight now. You know what I mean? Regardless if he gives me Genesis, we have to fight. Like, because I can't leave him alive because he'll come for me. And you know what I mean? There's a weird Klingon honor thing that the Klingon developed from this point on,
Yeah. And remember, he's only got like one other motherfucker on the ship right now, or like two guys. He's got a guy in the transporter room. He's got Maltz. No, he's got Maltz in the transporter room. He might be the only one. Yeah, I think he's up there by himself.
Maltz is on the bridge running the train. Remember, the Bird of Prey is a tiny, tiny ship.
Oh, yes. That's true. Yeah, everything's real. So this Klingon commander is fucked anyway. He got his crew killed, blown up on Enterprise. He doesn't have Genesis. He's bringing nothing home. So he's not he doesn't have a lot to gain from not fucking with Kirk. And I think Kirk's like, the plane is destroying itself around him. He delivers exhilarating, isn't it? Because he's a Klingon. He's a little nuts. And then the ground shifts underneath the Klingon commander's feet and basically hurls him at Kirk. Mm-hmm. Is that a stunt man?
It is. It's kind of
that's totally a stunt man. Look at that.
I was looking. I was like, God, he got real thin.
That's like
we talked about this with Space Heat. I showed you the high res scan of it. We could see the
yes
clearly. Rescan these films in without touching them up because that's what they're doing. They're either rescanning them at 1080p or upscanning them to 2080 from the 1080p, so you could see like stuntmen's faces and whatever. They're not remastering where they would touch that up, so you like with a little digital,
Accepted. I never noticed this wasn't Shatner before, but to be fair, I never did.
Well, you wouldn't see it on a DVD quality. You wouldn't be able to tell on a DVD quality.
Yeah, it moves so quick. But you can tell just watching the other one, watching Space Seed, that's neither Kirk nor Ricardo Montalban in the fight.
Well, the scene I gave you, the shot I gave you, and the shot you're using with 1080p or 720, and it clearly shows up. Like no.
Yeah, while you're watching it, but this one, while you're watching it, I didn't notice.
Yeah, it's more noticeable in a still than a.
Yeah, well, yeah, the still's like, that's not fucking him. So they get into a tussle. He picks him up. Kirk does this really kind of cool move, and he just bashes him in the side of his head until he lets him down. The flip kick thing.
Yeah. When I was a kid, me and my brother used to call that karate. All the stuff that he was doing. It was like I was doing karate again.
the fight goes on, and Kirk's not doing great. It's they get into a little bit of luck here. They turn around, and this fucking ledge drops off, and the Klingon commander drops. And Kirk, I don't know why, give me your hand. And it's like, dude, the fuck, just let the motherfucker die.
Well, I thought he was going to take his hand and drop him. I really thought
right.
he was gonna, like I want this guy to die by my hand, not by an accident.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I couldn't. I was like, "What's he wants to question him?" Or
I mean, maybe it's because I'm Sicilian. I look at everything as a form of revenge, but like every Kirk motivation from the point that he recovered from his son's death was, I'm going to kill that MF no matter what.
He's a good guy. He has to save him.
Yeah, I think that's what they're going for.
I would bet.
And then, he reaches up and grabs Kirk's leg.
If you see, look in the chat there.
What's that?
Daniel agrees with me. Look in the chat there.
Just pull him up so you can throw him out. Yeah, exactly.
So he can throw him off himself. I don't think Kirk would have done that. It's not really his style, because that's, if he kills him in the fight, it's one thing. If he kills him in that way, I don't know, it would be less honorable.
There were Kirk smashing people to death with rocks to the head and all sorts of stuff like that. Kirk was a
agree to disagree. And so he grabs him by the leg, and then Kirk falls down, and then you get the great line, "I have had enough of you kick," which is where we got She-Hulk earlier on.
And that's
Jacob
just
Ironside's meme.
Yep. According to Jake Ironside,
and
works all the way
down into the lava. Klingon commander goes. Now, Kirk heard the Klingon commander give the transport up, the beam me aboard command to Maltz. So he scoops up Spock and says, "Maltz, doiju," and Maltz beams him up. Now, poor Maltz isn't expecting this, and he gets beamed on like this. He's like, "Oh, motherfucker. All right." And Maltz, he's like, "Hey, I need you to." Kirk's trying to get it, because remember, they need to get the fuck out of here because the planet's going to blow up, and they have no idea it's a Klingon ship. That nothing is where it's supposed to be. He doesn't know how to do anything, and so Kirk tells the guy, "Help me," and he's like, "I'd rather die first, or help us, or I'll kill you." And he's like, "Well, I'm going to kill you later." Genesis is erupting all over the place. And this was funny because they're trying to figure out where the antimatter thing.
If I were to the thing, where would I be?
Yes. This, no, that. It's this or nothing.
Nothing.
Eeny,
According
meeny,
to this
miny,
captain,
mo.
it's
Catch an antimatter atom by the toe.
Yeah, right.
Yes. And so they're full power, and he's like, "Go, Sulu." And away they go as the planet blows the fuck up.
You imagine, like, David wakes up from being dead and then the planet blows up?
Oh, I'm alive!
No! God.
That would have been a great Monty Python version. So you said you would kill me later. I lied. So
Put him in the brig.
Yeah, go fuck off now.
This is the first time they actually showed the little knives, too. The Klingon knives.
Oh, when they killed David, yes.
Yeah, it opens up
with the side blades.
Yeah.
Well, this was the first time the Klingons became the space Viking samurai Klingons.
Yeah.
And this scene between McCoy and Spock is also very nice. Where McCoy is basically telling him, I find I miss you, and I don't think I could stand losing you again. And from McCoy, who they have their fake fights, but it's just they are friends, and I thought it was a very 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 well delivered from DeForest Kelley. And on their way to Vulcan, and Vulcan looks just the way they made Vulcan in this film looked fucking beautiful.
It looked alien. It looked,
yes,
ancient and weird and mystic and
Mount Salea. And then they're radioing to come in and Savage.
Conehead hats.
Yeah, the conehead hats.
Yeah, he's got that like 60s looking vest on, like out of the show looking.
Very cool. It's like he's got fucking Thanos's Infinity Gauntlet on his chest.
Infinity vest.
Tell Kirk, I'll be waiting. So ship coming in, it looks really nice. The effects were just really good. The lighting on Vulcan, how alien it looked, was just fucking great. They're taking they don't have some kind of anti-gravity thing they could do this with. It has to be a regular old stretcher.
Why would the Klingons have that?
Yeah,
they just kill people. Like, you're wounded. Goodbye. Honor served must kill you.
So now they're all gathering, all the Vulcans and the crew they don't even know what the fuck. It's a neat set. It looks really good.
They will attempt the joining, which has not been done since the ancient times.
This request is not logical. Is this the same gal or is this a different gal from
I want to say it's the same one.
I thought it was too. I thought that was one of the fun things about
it said special guest appearance by Dame, I can't remember her name, but I think it is from the show.
Right. I think it was the same lady. Forgive me, my logic where my son is concerned is uncertain. And who has the Katra? That's me. McCoy, son of David.
Let's proceed to the Kratratorium.
And she asks him though, she's like, it's dangerous. You don't have to do this shit. And McCoy's like, I choose the danger. Hell of a time to ask me. And so you get this cool scene where she's got, she's doing like a double mind meld trying to reconnect the bits. And they do a nice job of presenting the passage of time.
They do. There's a constant gonging.
The gongs, and you do feel like hours have passed while this is going on.
I really like the costumes of the other like priestesses or whatever they are. They look very Oracle of Delphi kind of looking.
And you got like a monk looking dude back
there.
Yeah, yep.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. It has a very religious.
The Kolinar monks are. Remember Spock was trying to become a Kolinar master?
Yes, that's right.
The mountain where they all live.
I like how their little headdress has got the thing, kind of like
it's just like
it looks like the hand, but it's
it's made out of some kind of crystal or something. Yeah, there you go, Dempsey. Vestal Virgins. That's it.
Oh, nice. Yes. They're all like, okay.
In our head, she's like,
is there somewhere I can get a coffee or a soda or something?
Create a new partition on Spock's brain.
Yeah, right.
Format in Fat 32.
And the gong, and this is again very reminiscent of that same episode, Matt, with the Pon farr.
Yeah. Well, the Vulcan
stuff. Spock actually broke that gong. Remember with
like
Pon farr.
The show, most of the Vulcan stuff until they really got stupid with it was all from this to that was pretty good. The Vulcan lore, in terms of lore, like background lore outside of Tolkien, I love the Vulcan stuff from Star Trek. I love the alien, the Tenkanese culture from Alien Nation. Sometimes they really do a good effort with this stuff. Even if they did ruin it sort of with Star Trek Enterprise.
Amok Time is the name of that episode.
Yeah.
On Farr.
It was Amok Time.
Yeah.
Yep.
For some reason in my head, I get Amok Time and the Naked Time mixed up. I know what the Naked Time is. It's that's the
drunk episode.
Yeah, the drunk episode, which they brought into Next Gen as a member berry.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's over, and we don't know what to expect out of this. Don't know what's going on. He stands up. They carry out the old broad.
Yeah, she's done.
So I'm so done. And this speech from Sarek is great as well. But at what cost? Your ship, your son. If I hadn't tried, it would have been my it would have been my soul.
Yeah, he burned everything. His command, his ship, his son.
Yeah, he's fucked.
Yep.
And then we get Hoodie Spock and a couple of bald monks traipsing down. So something's going on. At least he's got something in there. He stops and he turns around. And this interaction is also really good. My father tells me that you have been my friend. Why did you come back? Because of the good of the many, or the good of the one outweighed the good of the many. And Spock gets confused. And then he starts remembering bits. Ship out of danger. You saved the ship. You saved us all. Don't you remember, Spock? And he's checking everybody out, trying to see who the fuck's who. He's like, I don't recognize who is this weird little fellow.
But then he recognizes Chekhov's hair that never changes, and it all comes back to him.
You're right.
He's like, oh, George Takei. He's a dick.
If Sulu had his cape on, you would have recognized it.
Bones, and then he comes back to Kirk again. And he's trying to remember, and he can't. That's when he's like, don't you remember, Spock? And then he comes back because he's going to leave. And then he turns around and comes back. And that's where you have the Jim. Your name is Jim. And you get that first real connection Spock has made again. It's in there.
Yeah.
And Kirk smiles, and then they all gather around. He does the eyebrow. Everybody laughs, and that's McCoy's like, remember now?
Yeah, the eyebrow thing was a really nice touch.
Yes, because he straightens up as soon as your name is Jim, and Jim smiles, and he straightens up, almost reminiscent of Wrath of Khan when he was standing up in the antimatter chamber and just trying to look proper. So everybody gathers around, everybody's friends again. They all hug the alien. Camera goes out and the adventure continues. And that is the search for Spock.
Now, there is a really good comic series that, like in the movie continuity, there was almost no time between 3 and 4, right? But there was a really good comic series that DC did for Star Trek that took place between Star Trek 3 and Star Trek 4. If you ever want to hunt something down to read it, it's like 20 or 30 issues. I have most of it somewhere if it survived the flood. It's really good. It led right into Star Trek 4, basically.
Oh, okay.
Because they were on there for a few months, weren't they?
They were there for a minute.
Well, yeah,
because
they were there for a while, but like the comic stretched out a little longer. They went on some missions with the bird of prey and things. Like how the reason they had to explain how they knew how to use the bird of prey so well in Star Trek 4.
By the time they got back, okay.
Yeah.
So that's it. I'm a big fan of this. I also like Star Trek 4, like I said, and we'll talk about that in a couple weeks. The 3 movies are almost hard not to watch together. You have to devote about 6 or 7 hours. But watching The Wrath of Khan, going directly into Search for Spock, and then into Star Trek 4, because it's one story. It is a complete story arc.
Mm-hmm.
Motion picture, all on the fuck its own. 5 should have never been made, and then 6 is a nice wrap up and an apology of sorts for Star Trek 5, bringing Nicholas Meyer back to direct. So, I don't know. Do you guys have any final thoughts on Star Trek 3?
Obviously the film has flaws. I ranked of the big six, so to speak, 1 through 6. 2 and 6 are great films in general. There's no arguing on that. After that, I enjoyed 3 and 5 and 1 about equally. 4, there's a lot in 4 that like it's a well crafted film, but it's not a well written film.
It was super popular though.
It was very popular
because of the whales.
Yeah, the fucking whales.
But like there's a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense. Like if you could just time travel to save 2 whales, I mean, there are plenty of other Federation ships. Even if the Earth gets destroyed, go back in time, get 2 whales, dump them off in the past. You could rescue all the whales. You know what I mean?
Right. 2 whales is not a species save.
Yeah.
But they need to communicate with the pod thing. We'll talk about Star Trek 4 when we get there.
Tell the pod to go away, so then you guys could live on your own ocean.
So on this one, is there an extended version, like a director's cut, where they have like deleted scenes added in or anything like that?
I don't know. I know there is with Star Trek 2. I don't think there is with Star Trek 3, but I'm not 100% on there.
I'll do a quick little search here and we'll see.
Okay. Really, Zach? Fuck Avatar. Oh my God, fuck Avatar so much. I hope all the whales in Avatar die and the fucking probe comes and destroys the planet. That's what I think. Okay, Max thinks that there is a director's cut. I guess we'll find out.
So Star Trek Research is about 2-disc special something or other. Special Collector's Edition. That's one thing there. Compared 3 versions. No, it's a motion picture.
Okay.
Apparently there are 3 versions of Star Trek motion picture, though.
But anyway, so let Blair, is there anything you wanted to tag on for your thoughts on Star Trek 3?
It really I didn't like it because they brought Spock back. I mean,
you liked the you thought it was the closure of Star Trek 2.
Because it kind of like just how he takes away from it. He made the ultimate sacrifice, and it really, as a kid seeing that, I was like, oh my God, they killed Spock. But don't worry, he's back. It's like,
they traded death for death. They traded David for
yeah, and the whole David situation too kind of bothered. It's like you have a kid, no, you don't, and he's like really not too broken up about it. So,
like I said, I didn't have a lot of emotional attachment to David, but apparently neither did Kirk.
No,
a little bit. Like I said, that one scene where he, the Klingon bastard, you killed my son, him collapsing on the bridge, that was well done. But then, they're on Vulcan like 7 minutes later, and
what are you gonna do? He makes a thing about but Jim, they're dying. Says, let him die.
Well, Kirk grieved the Warriors' way. He killed. His grief was killing Cruz. I mean, that's
David was the worst. Mags.
Yeah, he was.
I just didn't. I didn't care. I would have been more sad if they killed Saavik, new Saavik, even though she wasn't as good as Kirstie Alley.
I've said many times. I'm annoyed that Saavik didn't just raffle stomp.
Didn't do something.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking sex bots. Sex bots. No.
Find you.
Sorry. My own fault.
Can I block? Hey, I'm a moderator. I block one.
I think you're a mod, Matt.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm winning the battle or losing the battle here. I think I'm losing.
Report.
Find your love here. Is it Pond Far away?
Report.
They should modify these and personalize them. Pond Far.
Thank you, Matt, for killing my sex bots. God damn it. So anyway, I think we'll wrap up here. I am a big fan. I like the movie. I do like the movie, and I like the themes of the friendship and loyalty and the peril that they put themselves in to. They don't even know they're going to save their friend at that point. They're just trying to save what's left of him.
Yeah,
it's a hard because they don't know that Spock's alive, but they almost proceed like he is, which is a little bit weird. But that's fine. It's fine.
Well, that's Kirk's gamble. That's his character thing. He's like, I'll take any shot.
But Blair, I definitely get your point that it's like it does take away from the heaviness of Spock dying because he comes back.
Now he's zombie.
I mean, like I
Spock.
said, and there are a lot of little bits we could pick apart in this, but
Zoc. He's Zoc now. He's not Spock.
But it's fine. There, I think there's more good in it than bad for the military points that I pick apart, just because I don't see them as being fucking logical. But there's still a lot of good stuff here. The Klingon stuff, the shots. It's a beautiful looking movie. The soundtrack is so good. Like I said, there's a lot of up in this movie.
Yeah,
I like this one better than the whale one.
I agree there.
I think my order is Khan, Spock, Country, Whales. Country. Country. Undiscovered Country. Then Whales, and then Motion Picture, and then 5. Is that all of them?
So what you're saying is
Yeah.
you really don't like 5.
Then
I really
Generations.
fucking hate 5. I absolutely despise 5.
Well, Generations is a new generation movie. With just
I don't really count Generations just because that would be if I had to rank Generations, it would be.
Generations is worse than the JJ movies.
I think it would. I still like Generations better than. Do I like it better than 5? Actually, I don't know. I would need more time to work that out for myself. I hate them both.
I don't know. I would rather. I'm conflicted about some of those JJ movies. Like
I would rather watch the JJ films than any of the Next Generation films except for Nemesis.
So you like Nemesis?
I like.
We'll have to talk.
aspects of it.
We'll have to talk about we'll have to get it. We are.
Yeah. Because
it's too much.
It
Because
is
we could go on, but I cannot go on because Mrs. of the Empire requires my presence.
I think for me, this one, it wasn't. To me, it's not the best of the movies, but it builds on the lore, the visuals, it's world building. So it's more building blocks for the next movies and the next movies, and it kind of expands on it. And like the Vulcan stuff was done very well. The ships looked great. The space station, that whole thing.
Yes.
Plot holes aside.
But I think we all agree that we hate the JJ movies.
You have no idea.
That motherfucker.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys. Thank you so much to my panel, Shieldwall of Dragons, Blair de Blair, Unbearable 73, the Nerdporeal Lifeform. Is that everybody? That seems like everybody.
Yeah.
I didn't miss anybody. Because everybody, we had a lot of cancellations, unfortunately. Mags, I want you to feel better, by the way. Get better, Mags. And thank you to everybody in the chat who have been hanging in there and enjoying this movie, I think, as much as most of us have, Blair aside. There's always got to be one. But thanks for hanging out with us. Make sure you jump over to Nerdporeal's channel because he's still going. Because he's only been on for a little bit, so I know he's still chatting. And I want you all to have a very Merry Christmas. I don't know if we're going to have a show next week. I got to feel that out, like I said, because the daughter of the Empire is going to be home, and I only see her every rare amount of time because she no longer lives in the occupied state of California. So we'll see. We'll play next week by ear, but in 2 weeks, the week after Christmas, we will talk about Star Trek for the fucking whales. So all right. So for again, this has been Solving the World's Problems with your host Roman of the Empire and this fantastic panel. And we will see you all soon. Be kind.